It's the rumors. I'm Ziploc Bob. I'm here, finally rejoined with Zero Plays Games, aka Ed,
Hey, everybody.
Crimson Rose,
Hello.
and Angry Hippie Lady.
Hi.
Alright, so we're talking about
Oh, hold up. I forgot. My bad. Dang it. Oh, hold up. I forgot. My bad. Dang it. Oh, hold up. I wonder how long this will loop, actually. Anyways. Yay! I get freaked out because everybody shows up an hour late, and I'm just like, oh god. And of course. Anyways. Today's news.
Yes, today's news.
Great.
Alright, so hello folks, welcome to the Minor Streamer stream. Let's go ahead and get this one started. So first off, we have the EA thinks it's great that PS4 and the Xbox One might have upgradable hardware. Says it's great for the industry. Them as a publisher, they're especially excited because they get to make more games and make more revenue. So what are y'all's thoughts on it?
Okay, from a business standpoint, I'm happy for them, I guess, is the best way I can put it. It's like, yay, go you, all that good stuff. But at the same time, I'm just like, it doesn't mean that it's just because it's good for their bottom line doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be good for the consumer. Because, say, even when it's like, a normal console change as we know it, you'll have it to where it's like, oh, I want to play this game. Well, I need to get a PS4 to play insert game title here. So, yeah, I'm kind of ambivalent about it. And not Microsoft, EA's not known for being the most benevolent company at times by most of games media in general, honestly.
I think it's good. I really do think this is a good thing. If game console manufacturers go with the upgradable component aspect of things, you don't always have to stay on the cutting edge. You won't always have to stay on the cutting edge. So, if, let's say, there's a new, we'll go Xbox, new Forza's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got 3 select GPUs. You've got a high range, a mid range, and the factory range. The game, let's say, the game can run on the mid or the high. Gets the best performance on the high. Will barely get by in, Forza Online on the low. Fitting price point and things like that. Yes, the game is still playable on the mid or the low. Even if the mid is recommended, it'll play on the low.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen players play things beyond, with specs beyond minimum recommendations or just under for years now on the PC aspect of things. I think this could be very good. I'm worried about a divide in the game industry. Let's say Xbox, once again, let's say Microsoft releases upgradable components and Sony decides not to. That's what I'm worried about, is everybody has to do it or nobody can do it, because you'll end up with such a huge rift in the console world.
Oh, you mean kind of like the rift with console and PC?
Yes, you'll see that rift divide. You'll see people completely drop a console and buy another console, simply for upgradable components, or just drop consoles altogether and go to PC.
Honestly, when it comes to that sort of thing, I consider it a non-issue, because, okay, let's say if Microsoft does and Sony doesn't, right? they'd have to upgrade to catch up from a pure technical standpoint as it stands now. This isn't me being a Sony fanboy. I'll admit I am a little bit of one, but this is me going, okay, let's look at the numbers. Let's look at what they're capable of. You'd have to upgrade an Xbox One to make it comparable to a PS4. Okay.
Well, and my thoughts real quick. If you're going to have an interchangeable part console, it has to be a brand new console that you can easily go in and change out parts. Obviously, right now, they cannot make the Xbox One or the PS4 a interchangeable parts. It's just not possible at the moment. But with the new console, your next console like Scorpio or the 4.5, that would be a great time to launch that idea. Either way, going back to EA, they're excited about the fact that they can make a game and it can have a 7 to 10 year lifespan. Like 360 had a long lifespan. That you can have more player interaction, more players can play together, no one gets left behind. I think it's a great idea. I could talk about it for hours, but keeping on what EA is excited about. So this is a factor that a large game developer, publisher, whatever you want to call them, is pushing for. This means you finally have a big backing for this. Now, if one company decides to do it and one decides not to, if one company does it well, it's going to force the hand of the other company. But I could see where at first it could make a rift. But
one thing I do have to ask, mainly to Krim and Ed here, because they are more, old school gamers like myself. Does this not remind you guys a little bit of a Sega CD and 32X add-ons? Just a little bit?
Yes. It reminds me also of the N64 and
like the expansion slot. But that was just a chip, and that was planned from inception.
Yes, upgradable components used to be a thing. I think they could be a thing again, and I think they would not be a bad thing at all.
Yeah, so it's not that it's just like, oh no, whatever, but it's like even with, like, say, that upgraded chip with the N64, that was just RAM. That's all it was. It didn't magically make it better than a PS2. It just gave, or not PS2, but an PS. Yeah, it didn't make it magically better than a PS2. It just gave it better draw distance, so you could play games like Donkey Kong.
Right. And Banjo-Kazooie, wasn't that?
I think it was Banjo-Tooie, if it was one of them. But I do know it also was like a Perfect Dark game as well. My memory is fading with age.
And seeing it from EA's point of view is they can make a game or publish a game that pushes the limits of the console, and if you have the cheaper version, cheaper parts, it will leave them behind, but you're basically unbound to make a game as big, as crazy as you want. And leaving some behind is a good thing, because that that causes them to buy the newer part. So I see it, I can, from their point of view, I see it as I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, but this could be another Wii U situation to where, was it Wii or Wii U, to where you had developers pledging allegiance, then they actually saw the specs and went, never mind. Like, real quick. That is a possibility, but that is completely speculative. But it's just one of those, based on past history, it's something that, people that are, because this is very speculative to begin with, that you're going to have to consider. Otherwise, you're just kind of, slamming your foot on the go.
Speaking of Go. So Pokemon Go, something that I'm still slightly obsessed with, I think more so than the other members of the group. But They took out the footstep, and I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I actually really like them, but apparently a lot of users didn't like them and found them confusing. And what I'm talking about is whenever you would look at the Pokemon that were near you or whatever, it would give you 1, 2, or 3 footsteps, and that's gone. And it's been gone now for a little bit, and I kept on expecting them to put it back in, but they don't seem to have any plans to put that back. They are supposedly working on something that will be better for the user and make more sense. I don't know what that could be, because what makes more sense than putting 1, 2, or 3 footsteps to tell you how far close a Pokemon is? It's like, there were some really awesome Pokemon today that were close to me, and it's like, and I hadn't discovered them, but I knew one was like, I knew what it was.
Well, the thing is, if it does show up, if it shows up at all, it's within 300 feet of you.
Yeah, and
But
it's like, I could go out
additional
and look
news
for it.
has been released as of 1 hour ago.
Oh.
This is according to the Niantic Labs Twitter, the Pokemon Go News Twitter as well, which is basically, they're just reposting Niantic Labs at this point. As some of you may have noticed, we have recently rolled out Pokemon Go to Latin America, including Brazil. Yay, Brazil. We are very excited to finally be able to take this step. We were delayed in doing that due to aggressive efforts by third parties to access our servers. You know, like a lot of the clients, to where it's like, hey, the Pokemon's exactly right here, and it was a third-party app, that sort of thing. To where it accessed our servers outside of the Pokemon Go game client and our terms of service. We blocked most of these attempts since yesterday, and since then there's been public discussion about this. We wanted to shed some light on why we did this, and why these seemingly innocuous sites and apps actually hurt our ability to deliver the game to a new and existing player. And it shows a little graph. It doesn't have any numbers, so the graph's almost kind of meaningless. But basically, there's a red line that's kind of wavy and way up high, and then it spikes down on that during the time, and it's basically their server pull, and it spikes down hard, and it's all these websites and third-party apps. And that was one of the things that prevented them from getting to a lot of different countries, and to actually taking time to better develop the footprint stuff, I guess, is what they're trying to say here.
I guess.
And they're just having problems with bots and cheaters and all that good stuff.
Yeah. For me, it's like, if I don't know how close or far that Pokemon is, or even like what direction to head, I'm not going to go out wandering around my town looking for this Pokemon.
There's honestly no way to tell direction.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, it's 1 step, now it's 2 step. That means I'm going the wrong way. I need to turn around and go back to where I was.
Yeah.
And now there's none of that. It's just, and so I'm not about to walk all over town trying to find this thing.
If they do introduce the 2-step thing, here's a little trick for you guys out there. And this has been mathematically proven. Just make a small circle, a bigger circle around that circle, and a bigger circle around that circle. And just imagine each one of those being the boundaries of hitting. I can see it. Now it's 2 steps. Now it's 1. As soon as you hit 2 steps, make a mental note of that, of where you are. Then continue walking until if you hit 3 steps, turn around and go the other way. Like the midpoint between the two-step points, pick a direction that's left or right from that. And if you hit 3 steps, turn around, and you'll eventually hit the 1 step. And that method works in no matter what you're doing. But the trick is you got to get the 2 steps first. Otherwise, you'll never be able to figure it out.
Do you know what else would work, in my opinion?
What?
For them to actually fix rotation lock on a phone, where you can stand in one spot and you watch your player. You can watch your avatar turn in circles, facing directionally, and just add a hot and cold bar. Kind of like that one game that Hippie's playing right now. What is it, Grow Home?
Oh, yeah, that would work
Where you
so
find-
wonderfully.
Yes, with the crystals? Yeah.
Yes. But that's just my rant, and I am far from a game
That
developer.
would be amazing, actually.
You know what? I actually know a few game developers. Maybe I can get one on here one day. Maybe, because that would be awesome. But moving all
On other
around.
Pokemon Go news, so back to EA, back to Pokemon Go. It's all come back together. So EA has seen the massive success of Pokemon Go, and this has re-energized their plans for AR. So apparently EA is planning to do AR-like stuff, and they're excited to do it. So whatever plans they had, they're probably going to go through with them. So what do you think about an EA possible AR game taking away EA's reputation, taking that out of the picture of their actual games? If it was good, what do you think?
I think this is kind of has what I call the Ghostbuster syndrome. Bear with me. The original Ghostbusters was such a perfect storm that even the original crew couldn't recreate it. Because look at Ghostbusters 2. It got a couple of laughs, but it was not nearly as good. It was just this perfect storm. And Pokemon Go, on top of actually getting sued for some stupid reason, but it's like there was such a built-in thing there. So if you go with EA, is like, okay, what type of built-in fandoms do they have? Basically anything that BioWare makes. So there's a couple good ones, but we're nothing Pokemon level. Like nowhere near.
Nothing that's AR level.
Yeah, like not Pokemon. EA has done mobile games before, and they've been hit and miss. There's been a couple good, couple bad. I mean, that's kind of normal for AAA. That's like it's a new type of development, and they're having to fill their way out. But outside of EA's notoriety, it's just like you're trying to recreate something that I don't honestly think that Niantic could recreate on this level, because it was just an interesting, brand new idea with an IP that's beloved by all ages and is completely family friendly. And EA, a lot of their brands aren't family friendly.
Right.
Like Dragon Age is M, I believe.
I mean, they have plans for AR, but EA is the market is just they're not in the same. They're not. I was gonna say they're not in the same ballpark. I don't even think that EA is in the same sport at this point. They're not in the same ballpark. They're not in the same league. They're not even playing the same sport. EA focuses on the
acquisitions.
The acquisitions. They develop the first-person shooters and things like that, as well as the sports games. You're not going to be able to put those in an AR setting just yet.
And they're really good at watering down an RPG. That's about it. But when it comes to different types of platforms, you have some companies that I've seen them try to cross the barrier one way or the other from handheld to console/PC or vice versa, and they just can't do it. And I've seen others that can do it very, very well. But the ones that can do it very, very well are very rare, and they have like a dream team of experience and talent and just good management. Not all these things EA is known for having, and there's a reason why I said dream team, because it takes a very special sort of leadership, design aspect, vision, and due diligence to actually do this. And anybody that's jumping after the AR bandwagon, and I'm not just saying, oh, EA, like anybody that's like, oh, we're going to go after AR, that wasn't already going after AR, or even was going for AR beforehand, now that Pokemon Go has, a lot of people are going to go, oh, you're just trying to bandwagon us. You're just jumping on the bandwagon because of Pokemon Go. And they're going to have to figure out a way to get past that stigma. And that's just yet another hurdle they're unfortunately going to have to pass through.
Right, and real quick before going on to the next story is, I don't see any of their IPs being big enough to take on AR besides possibly Star Wars. The Star Wars AR might be cool. However, them doing AR mobile game probably would not be realistic because the world is not. I don't think the world will ever be ready for an AR mobile shooting game. I don't think we're ever going to get to that place. However,
but we can catch Ewoks.
But a variant on maybe an AR through the console, something we haven't actually seen yet. Possible, though they don't have the greatest IPs, but that is a possibility. I'm excited to see what they have coming up, and let's move on.
Alright, so Activision. Poor old Activision, and they kind of issued this non-apology, which isn't rubbing everybody that well, but I personally don't care. It's just like, well, if you're going to do a non-apology, you're going to fix it, right? Well, yeah, they said they're going to fix the Marvel games, because right now Marvel's a big IP, and you just know that Disney isn't happy if one of their babies isn't working as fine-tuned as it should. Given the fact that these price tags are $40 each or $60 for the bundle for Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 for the PC ports as well as anything else, they will they're fixing the Xbox One achievements. It's actually already been fixed. They're going to add in the missing DLC and free update. They will be fixing the controller support for the PC versions as far as the Xbox One controller, the Xbox 360 controllers. Make it to where it can support up to 4 controllers because it is a party game. This is the type of game to where, like, how GoldenEye used to be back in the day. This is like that type of vein of where you grab 3 friends and go to town. The audio, there will be plenty of audio fixes on the second one and the first one, but mainly the second one is where they're really going to have to hammer home. And there will be improved multiplayer ultimate invites for the original one, because that's kind of wonky right now. And there will be a bunch of additional little fixes, including some issues that could cause players to be desynced or disconnected completely on online games, and adding support for the EULA scroll bar. Wow. That last one just kind of still, just even though I know it's coming, it still punches me right in the gut with shock. You guys got any opinions on this?
Not really.
I'm glad to know that they're going to be working on it and fixing on it, and we did cover this earlier, and we did want to, say that they are fixing it. But speaking of games that need fixing,
Fixie.
Telltale's Batman has had a lot of negative reviews. About 1/3 of the players that had, at the time of this article coming out, that is, had negatively reviewed it. And a lot of people are saying that they're having a lot of frame rate issues. One player in particular said that you'd have to have a PC built by Jesus Christ himself to get the game to run at 10 FPS. So it's having a lot of issues, and hopefully with 1/3 of the users having issues with the game, that we will see a fix soon. And I'm sure it's already in the works.
This is so weird for me because I've watched a Let's Play of this, and I know they were using a PC because of the WAS controls, all that good stuff.
Do they have a PC built by Jesus Christ themselves?
Well,
I mean,
it's
might.
Dodger, so maybe.
right?
She has the money.
quickly on this story is what's bad is Telltale has had a problem with about every game they put on the PC, it being broken at launch. However, the Telltale Batman game is on a new engine. This is the first game on this engine, and they were saying, hey, it won't be broken. It's broken. So they're kind of living up to their PC, what they've been doing on every PC game, but they tend to have very quick fixes. So that's something you can look forward to.
But seriously, what is it about not being able to get a Batman game to launch here lately? Or superhero games for that matter. Oh, well, we don't have those problems on console, do we?
Of course we do,
I mean,
but not this one.
Yeah, there's the only Telltale game that I've played that hasn't been broken in launch is Telltale Minecraft, and I think that's because they worked on it for so long.
Right.
Well, the Minecraft one even had glitches. I mean, I never played it, but I watched Good play it, and he's had glitches and issues with it. So, even still.
You remember
somebody's
what I
gonna
was
have
saying
issues.
earlier about certain companies having strengths and weaknesses? A common through point and weakness is that there's a lot of companies that don't treat the PC as they should.
Right. Well, that, it happens. But on other stories, we have a quick review and information on the Xbox One S. So, for those that don't know, that's the new console coming out for Microsoft. It's basically a slimmer, more beefy Xbox One. Price is $300 for a 500 gigabyte, $350 for a terabyte, $400 for 2 terabytes. Not that bad at all. Release date is August 23rd. And right now, they have been basically selling out with the pre-orders. They've been in high demand. And the reviews are amazing. People are saying that this thing is amazing. Basically, you're not changing too much with the actual hardware. You're just making it better. So I would think, it's going to run great. But it can also run 4K, HDR compatible, runs your games faster. So obviously, people love this thing, and it looks great and looks like they're going to make a lot of money off of it. Slightly surprising to me.
Yeah, here's the thing. It doesn't really surprise me when it comes to this sort of thing due to, was it the PS2 Slim? Like, it's just become kind of part of gaming nature where it's like, they've, in a way, having the upgradable consoles isn't that part of the stretch because they've been kind of conditioning us that way.
Well, no, they've been not updating or upgrading as they go. They're just putting more power into a package. We're talking about consoles that are, I guess, more streamlined. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it still plays the same games, still plays them just as well. It's just streamlined and smaller, and the nuke looks cooler. So now we're being trained in that mentality, and now it's kind of
it's
evolved
Stinson
into
approach.
this.
It is the Barney Stinson approach, and if anybody has ever seen How I Met Your Mother, you'll understand what I say when I say newer is always better.
I want the new shiny. I don't want the old shiny. Meanwhile, I'm still playing my SNES.
Well, the only reason we are getting this console and the new PlayStation console is because of VR and AR taking the market by demand, and they wanted to say, hey, we can run these things. Guess what? You cannot. So by their hands, they were forced to come out with these consoles, which they are nice, and the price point is not terrible.
Oh, yeah.
But that's something also to remember. This was something that was forced upon them, and they had to answer. And they answered, well, Microsoft, I would say, answered real well. We're still waiting on a lot more news on the Neo for PlayStation. However, it's interesting that the Microsoft has Project Scorpio coming out in about 18 months, so I'm pretty sure that will be just a brand new console, but we don't have, I doubt it'll be Project Scorpio at launch, even though that's a really cool name.
Well,
Sure
do you know what the GameCube's code name was? Dolphin. So
That's not as cool as Project Scorpio.
Oh yeah, not at all.
But
But
Yeah,
the thing is like, when it comes to having these upgradable consoles, and we'll be touting on and on and on about these, it's just supply and demand. Quite simply. They saw a want, and they're filling that want.
right, but with we're going back to the first story, unfortunately. But with the how fast technology has been exponentially expanding, it would serve to think that having a new console that had interchangeable parts would solve this, because it's hard for me especially to buy these consoles and whatnot. But we're trying to stick on just the 1S. The 1S has raving reviews. I would actually recommend going and buy one, especially if you haven't bought an Xbox One. This is your time.
Doesn't it also have something else in it?
Yes. So, in little weird things that Microsoft does from time to time that kind of cool. So, inside of it, there's a tiny Master Chief inside the body, which is
What?
Yes, it's engraved on the plastic.
I thought
In it.
Master Chief 1S was a new game.
No.
no.
They engraved a Master Chief in the plastic that you cannot see unless you crack it open.
But that voids your warranty.
Yes.
Interesting.
That
It's
is interesting.
this is actually nothing entirely unusual, because if you look at like a lot of the teardowns of like older consoles, there's some really interesting stuff in there. Like, chat, please, after this, go check some of that out, because one, it's nice to see how far we've come in hardware, and two, like the little bitty things, like like you'll see important people's names to the development etched into some of the chips on every one that was ever made.
With Microsoft, their biggest exclusive is Halo, and there's nothing that comes even close to their Halo exclusive.
That was their
So
killer app. It really was.
So there's not surprising Master Chief is in it. I think it's interesting. I think it's really cool that it's on the inside. Not surprising, just really cool.
I do find it funny that if you look at it, for those of you who have played Doom, it looks like the little chibi Doom guy thing that you get in the game that you have to find. It looks like a Master Chief version of that. It's like a little chibi Master Chief.
If that wasn't enough to sway you to buy one, then I don't know what will.
But let's talk about summertime fun. Right now, we can't call it a certain thing, but it is an Olympiad.
It's the Olympics. Overwatch Olympics. All right,
Yeah.
let's go.
But Overwatch is having skins, such as Tracer, of course, being outfitted like she's a sprinter, and God, I can't remember the guy's name with the skates, but he's basically a soccer player, or football if you're from outside the U.S. And these are cosmetic items, skins, stickers. They're a limited time only. Unlike existing items, they cannot be purchased with credits. They can only be collected via special loot boxes that will be around for 3 weeks for the duration of the event. According to director Jeff Kaplan, I believe I'm saying his name right, this is the first event that we're trying. If it's really cool and successful, and everybody likes it as far as the community, we'll probably have this event run again next summer as well. He described summer games as targeted towards more of the light side of Overwatch. However, some players are not happy with the way summer game items are unlocked. Opening one of these loot boxes does not guarantee you at least one of these new items, but there's no other way to attain them other than through loot boxes. Statistically, a player would have to open more than 100 loot boxes in all, which would require a lot of playtime or a lot of money to buy the boxes. So, yeah. They're saying they want it really rare. However, it's like statistically speaking, unless you had a lot of money, you're not going to get all of them. So it's like,
Interesting.
And I believe that wraps up the gaming section.
Not quite yet.
Oh no, there's more.
There's more, but wait.
But wait, there's more.
Yes. The first paid DLC for Doom is out. It's out early, actually. Ooh, it's going to. It was supposed to launch. It's out now. $15. It's called Unto the Evil. All platforms. And it is part of your season pass. It gives you 3 multiplayer DLC packs if you get the season pass.
It's pretty.
It is beautiful. It is dark. It is
Rip and tear.
gorgeous. It's rip and tear, exactly. And as long as you don't have to own this DLC to play these maps. By the way, these new multiplayer maps. As long as you're in a party with someone who owns this DLC, you can play it. I think that's a first, by the way.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're trying to combat one gripe about a lot of like say your Call of Duties, your Halos, and all that.
Yeah.
In order to play Special Map 1, everybody on the team has to own Special Map 1. And they're like, okay, if anybody has it, we're good.
And because QuakeCon is going on right now, by the way, guys, if you don't already own Doom on PC, Xbox One, or PS4, you can get it discounted right now because QuakeCon sales. Woo!
Yay.
Yep. Doom is half off, and Fallout 4 is also half off.
Yes,
Yep.
I was looking last night at Humble. Half off is more than on Humble itself. An outside seller of Fallout 4, it's like $26 or something, $29.
Mm-hmm.
$29.99 on Steam.
Yes.
Right.
It makes me happy. Well, moving on to tech.
Right. Speaking of some new things, Newegg is expanding to Australia via eBay. So for our Australian audience, this is pretty cool that Newegg is... Zero, explain Newegg. You're probably the best one.
Newegg is a place to buy, people in our industry think of Newegg as a place to buy computer hardware and peripherals, but it is so much more than that. At Newegg, you can buy office supplies, you can buy office equipment, you can buy audio, visual equipment, you can buy PCs, PC parts, all the things.
This is where I want to be buying my mic and my camera for DragonCon.
You can buy tool sets. You can buy
Cheers.
automotive parts, car GPSs, dash cams, subwoofers, amps, motorcycle riding gear. Check out Newegg. It's beautiful.
You can even buy televisions from Newegg.
You can actually buy HVAC controllers, industrial machinery, pipes and fittings, and docking equipment. You can buy a forklift from Newegg if you wanted to. They also have drones, RC cars, models, toys, action figures.
Do they sell Raspberry Pis?
Yes, they do for about $30.
So for $30, and if I have a 3D printer, guess what I can make?
What?
I can make my own 3D printed mini NES.
What?
With a Raspberry Pi. Now, this is about to get a little technical. Just very, very little. But basically, this guy made a Raspberry Pi that has like the spring-loaded cartridge slot where you insert the cartridge and it comes down there, and the cartridge are a 40th of the scale. The controller is a 40th of the scale, and so is the NES. and it connects via USB through a and the Raspberry Pi does have a emulator on it called RetroPie, PIE with RetroPie, but this one goes way beyond that. There's also an NFC reader that scans the 3D printed game cartridges, and you load up, and it loads up like Duck Hunt or Mario 3 or Zelda, anything. But it also shows this guy playing Fire Red for the GBA using this thing.
Really?
Yes.
He's playing advanced games on it.
Because remember, it's just an emulator. So all the games are actually on there, and you don't need to do it the same way. You can just have it towards a menu of select this game, and there you go.
Right, using an RFID or an NFC tag. That is genius.
And pardon me. This is something you guys can do yourself if you have a 3D printer. It costs, the Raspberry Pi plus the materials cost about $35. And
Really nice.
And I like the fact that it actually has cartridges, and the cartridges, like, I don't expect Nintendo to do this because making hardware and licensing, no. Like, actual physical medium, I would cost way too much. But when it comes to, like, the little nostalgia, like, you don't have to have the RFID chips in the cartridges. It's more of a spectacle. It's like, I just put it in there, and it actually loads through the front the way the old one does, and you have to press it down like the old one does, and you press the power button, and if you press and hold the power button, it'll turn it off, and you press the reset button, it'll reset the game.
Right.
And I had to bring this up because, like, this was the first console I remember having growing up. So it warms the cockles and sub-cockles in my heart. So, yeah.
Well, speaking on other tech-related stuff that probably doesn't warm those weird places of Bob's heart.
Aww.
So, Windows 10, their anniversary edition, is poised to roll out on Tuesday, and which should be already out. So check and see if you can find it. But it's going to be a lot more secure and easier to use, so they say. So one of the things that we mentioned before is Cortana is going to be a bit harder to turn off, but she syncs to your smartphone is one of the things.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either, but...
Well, you can still opt out. It's just a pain in the butt now.
It is... I find it Orwellian. We're not speculating here. I'm not rumorizing. I'm not speculating. I personally...
the more you say that you're not, the more it sounds like you are.
Well, okay, I was, but I find it personally Orwellian, and I can, for reasons I cannot go into.
Yeah, you may give your opinion on it, but I think the biggest part of this update is it adds a lot of security measures, which are nice. I'm always okay with security measures, especially when it's so it integrates itself so much into so many devices. And that's the thing with Windows 10 is it's integrating and connecting itself, or you connect it to, your Xbox, to your computer, to your phone. So more security is good. So
yeah, I'm ambivalent, honestly. I'm just like, can it play games? Yes. Because can I still edit my videos? Yes. Can I still record game footage? Yes. As long as those things don't change, I'm fine.
Right.
But I like I said, this is like, everybody's got their blind spots. This definitely is mine. To where I'm just to the point to where I'm so burnt out on it, I don't care anymore. You beat me in submission, you win.
Well, so if you've ever, I don't know, I don't deal with cell phones, so I don't know why I put this in here, but if you have a cell phone and you're always wondering what carrier has the best network, apparently it's T-Mobile, which I really didn't expect, because that's always the one that I heard was really bad, but they have the best download speed for the 4G, 3G, and overall, obviously, since they won those two. But the other Sprint and Verizon take a couple of areas, latency in 4G for Sprint, and then availability for 4G for Verizon. So you'll be connected more with Verizon. But anyway, T-Mobile does have
T-Mobile's got the fastest download speed and overall speed when you are connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
What about coverage?
Verizon has the
yeah,
most
Verizon
coverage,
has the
as she just
most.
said.
Yeah, I just said it
Okay.
like 2 seconds ago.
Again, old age.
This is another good time to remind you, Bob, that MTR doesn't have a retirement plan, so
Hippie
Yeah.
photos.
Yeah, Bob, just drop it. Speaking of dropping it, be sure, guys, to share this stream out. Crimson's throwing Steam keys like they are going out of style.
Basically.
Yay.
Yay! So,
Free games. We all like free games.
right.
No hosts are allowed to redeem them. Dang it. I'm kind of curious.
Too bad. Anyways, the Division
Can I not
movie-
host what next week so I can get a few more free games?
No. No MTR members allowed.
So can I quit for a week?
No.
no.
You won't be back.
Aw.
In that case, yes, feel free. But there's going to be a Division movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Chastain. So this is interesting. Seems like 2016 is the year either your gaming movie comes out or you announce you're going to have one. So
Jessica
okay.
Chastain. Mm.
I'm okay with it. Division, I don't see it doing well. I don't see movies of anything that do well after, say, all of a sudden they make tons of money and something that is hugely popular at launch. I don't think translate well to a movie. It never really does. So I don't think it's going to do great. I'm hoping it does, though. That's the thing, is I want to see all video game movies do well because I want more. I want them done right. So I'm hoping for the best. Don't know if it happened, but letting you know that this is going to happen. So there you go.
Well, can I just for a
Go for
second?
it.
There was a Division movie, basically a glorified trailer for the game before the game released. It was called Agent Origins,
Oh yeah.
and that currently on IMDb has got a 6.2 out of 10.
So a
So-
little above average.
So, I mean, a Division movie could be a good thing because we don't know the backstories of the characters, really.
Yeah, and
There's not a following. They're only going to exist in the Division.
yeah, that, and here's the thing. Minus movies like the Jason Bourne movies, military movies that are like, with pseudo-military, paramilitary units and, and dystopian American landscapeness, it's becoming more. Those movies are becoming more popular. It's infecting all of our media, and I definitely could see this becoming a case of if they's like, we're just using the name and we're just going to build a good movie off of the shoestring version of the universe. I could see it working because this isn't.
Right.
Everybody and their brother doesn't know what the Division is other than it's a shooty bang bang. Like, that's all you need to do is make sure there's a few weapons in the game, or the movie, I mean, and you're fine. At least that's how I personally would do it, but then again, I make crappy YouTube videos.
How do you want us to transition from that? Like, just
Hard.
go, yeah, you do.
Just go. Yeah, you do. They're not magical at all.
No, they're not. So everybody already knows I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. And sadly, I didn't make it to the midnight selling of the book and things stuff because I decided to sleep. But July 31st, 2016 was Harry Potter's 36th birthday. Not the books, Harry Potter himself. So,
Oh, okay. Jesus.
not fictional, guys. No,
Okay,
don't feel
I was about
that
to
old,
say,
Bob. You're
because
fine.
I was about to be like, wait, I remember when the books came out, and I'm not 30,
No,
and
no.
like you
No,
about
Harry
broke
Potter, the
math with my
character.
brain.
Harry Potter the character is 36 this year.
Oh,
And that's why J.K. Rowling decided to release the script, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, on that day. And also, just as a little aside, in 2 days, this book sold 2 million copies. Which I was very hesitant about the book. I have it. I haven't started reading it yet. I'm going to read it while I'm on break. But it's a script. It's not a typical Harry Potter book. And so I was kind of hesitant about it because of that. But it didn't sell as many as Deathly Hallows when it first came out, which it sold 8.3 million copies. But still, 2 million is pretty good. But the play that the book is, the script is sold out until August 4th, which is, well, today. And there will be a new batch of tickets released, and the show will continue running until December of 2017. So yeah, that's all the Harry Potter news. This script is the end of Harry Potter himself. This is the last we're going to be hearing of him. The next generation, if she does continue the series, which I kind of hope that she does, Harry Potter will not be in it. It will be the next generation.
I think we need wizards in space in the next generation.
wizards.
I think you've played
in
too much Saints
Spain. No.
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 Whoa,
Muggles.
whoa. So is that all we have for Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got that one charted out.
But right now, I have more video game movie that's going to be coming up. So, Joe Carnahan will work on the Uncharted with the Uncharted developer on movie adaptation. So basically, Uncharted is getting its own movie. This is a movie that I really hope that does well because I'm actually really excited about this movie because it'll be similar to a Tomb Raider-esque and a Harrison Ford, what am I thinking? Indiana Jones. That kind of style of movie. Probably with a little bit more shooty, bang, bang. But I'm excited that this movie is going to be a thing. They already have a date set, June 30th, 2017, so less than a year. And with this guy behind the helm, I feel like it will do good.
I don't know.
It's not my typical cup of tea, so I'm not really the audience.
I love the Uncharted game series. I don't know.
I'm ambivalent at best, and at worst, I'm just like, I don't care.
That's the thing.
It's one of those. My opinions
Like-
on it are as follows. It's not a movie made for me. So unless I start reviewing movies on top of games, I'm not necessarily going to see it.
Uncharted has got such a following, and I do mean such a following.
I mean, it's a
4
great
games
game.
now. 4
Series.
games now. 4 games now. You've got Nathan Drake.
5.
People know him, what he looks like, what he sounds like,
Now you.
who he is through the cutscenes and the lore. People know this.
Let's see.
So, I mean, this is a game this is a movie that's going to have to be done spot on.
Let's see. You got the Uncharted 1, 2, 3, 4, and the PS Vita game. You got 5 Uncharted games worth of lore and characterization. That's like what I was saying earlier. The reason I think the Division could work is because there's so much like it that Hollywood already does. And there's not that much homework. It'd be about the same as making a Tom Clancy movie. You know, just adapting a book to film.
Right.
And
I think Bradley Cooper would make a good Nathan Drake, though.
I'd say Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd. He has the look, and he has that mixture of, like, he could Nathan Drake his way through things by getting through things by just falling through it like he normally, how you do in game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could see Paul Rudd doing that. Bradley Cooper, not so much. I actually, like, he plays more capable people. Where Paul Rudd, with, say, Ant-Man, he does the blind luck thing.
Right.
At times. But
Patrick Warburton as Nathan Drake.
That would be hilarious and awesome. I will sponsor this movie with my hopes, wishes, and dreams. Speaking of hopes, wishes, and dreams. So, folks, Suicide Squad hasn't released yet. It's premiered, but it releases tomorrow. It has already been reviewed, but people review all the time. And here's the thing. If you don't agree, if you're like, you know what, I like the Suicide Squad in general, in the comics or whatever, or I like DC, so I want to see the movie anyways, then go see it. Go buy your ticket. If you're like, it seems like it'd be fun, go buy your ticket. If you're like, I don't really care, then don't buy your ticket. Don't waste your time. Now, I get it. Reviews are there to tell you if a movie is bad before you go, or tell you, hey, this movie's actually worth watching. You know, to sway you one way or the other. That's the point. You know, at least that's the point of a pro-consumer review is like, hey, this isn't a waste of money. This is a waste of money. That sort of thing. Well, after a slew of negative reviews for Suicide Squad, the people have spoken, and they want Rotten Tomatoes to be shut down.
Good luck.
So, DC Comics fans Adula Coldwater created a Change.org petition, shut down Rotten Tomatoes as a way to fight back against critics who have been tarnishing the superhero movie genre as a whole, and just this particular one, as well as DC movies. It's like, we need this site to be shut down because critics always give the DC extended universe movies unjust and bad reviews. Really, I haven't seen one that's wowed me yet. Now, their animated's fantastic. Their live action is And he's like, oh, it's a really great movie. I'm wondering if he's actually seen it with him saying this. That's just my follow-up question, but since I have interviewed the guy, oh well. At the time of publication, this petition has gotten over 16,000 signatures and it hopes to reach a goal of 25,000. Note, there are a lot of people signing the petition just so they can go, I don't know how an aggregate site works, and like making fun of everybody who does this. By the way, the petition isn't going to do anything. It isn't. The aim of the petition is to deliver a message to critics. The critics have no stake in Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. They can just go to a different aggregate site. That there are a lot of people who disagree with their reviews, just as a way to express their anger. I personally prefer expressing my anger by, playing video games, going on here and ranting about stupid stuff. But hey, you're ranting about stupid stuff in your own way, so I can't really say much. Why?
What do you think on this one, Crimson?
Please, Cram.
So, I'm guessing that the movie didn't turn out the way people expected because once the movie was for the most part done filming when Batman vs Superman dropped, and after it came out and most people did not like it, the studio told them to go back, told the director to go back and reshoot, cut,
Mm-hmm.
add a whole heck of a lot of things. And usually when that happens, when the studio oversteps their bounds so late, it usually turns out to be a choppy mess that you don't understand what's going on, and that's exactly what the reviews are saying. So that's what I'm expecting happened.
I know who I want to play Nathan Drake. Sorry, I'll keep it to myself.
Did you have an aha moment?
I did.
Good.
I did. I thought, who is cocky yet attractive? And who could play Nathan Drake? And we've already seen this man.
Who?
We all. Nathan Fillion.
He's a little over the hill.
He is a little over the hill, but that ain't... Nathan Drake's not a young guy. Sorry. But anyway, onto the DC universe and how the people hate movies that... Or people hate critics that have seen movies that the critics didn't necessarily like. Yeah, the people haven't seen the movie, but they want the critics to stop hating the movie.
Well, here's the thing. Like what you like. The critics'
Exactly.
opinions don't matter.
Exactly.
Like,
That's
for example, Zero. Name off some games you love.
games I love.
Just love that other people might not agree with.
Games I love that other people might not agree with. Let's try. I like the Grid series, the racing series.
I'd rather play Mario Kart.
I bet you would. I like. That's the thing. I don't.
But
I love the Hitman series.
yeah,
People hate on that one too.
yeah, and me, and I'm like, okay, Hitman is good, but I'd rather do this. But the thing is, you love Hitman, and that's fine. You can. Here's the thing: you can love something, and I can not like it at all, and that thing can still exist.
Exactly, but when it comes to people hating on Rotten Tomatoes because the critics at Rotten Tomatoes said this movie is not worth it.
Go to a different website.
Exactly. Either that or see the movie and judge for yourself, guys. Nothing's going to stop the box office from... When people said Batman v Superman was terrible,
It's
they
still
said, no, that's not possible. And then they went and saw it.
and it still broke how much? Like 10 million?
Exactly. The movie's going to make money. It's going to make money. It's going to make the box office happy. Maybe not as happy as they're hoping, but...
I mean, it's not going to make the box office ecstatic, but it'll make it pleasantly pleased.
I mean, do you know... Okay. Instead of video games that have been critically reviewed that I love but critics hate, how about movies? Let's do movies.
Okay, let's go
One
with
movie
movies.
I hate.
Here's one that movies are like movie critics, not the most populous, but movie critics hate. However, this thing became such a cult classic that, and I know a lot of people that hate this movie, and I love it because I love musicals in all shapes and sizes. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. That thing is such a cult classic that the Congressional National Film Registry registered it.
I'm a big fan. My favorite movie of all time was a Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez double feature. I saw it 9 times in the theaters, ladies and gentlemen. 9 times, and it was 3 hours and 46 minutes long. That would have been Grindhouse, Planet Terror, and Death Proof. You've probably seen them. They were made to look like bad movies, but guess what? I love bad movies.
And they were having fun with it. And the
Critics
thing is,
hated it.
oh yeah, the thing is, there is a critic disconnect. That is a very real thing. And I don't care if you're talking about musical critics, like anything that could be an art form that is interpreted to individual taste. There is always a possibility of that critic not having the same taste as you. I love metal and hate country. I'm not going to listen to a critic who loves the things I dislike and hates the things I love, you know?
Right.
It's about knowing your critic and having a personal rapport with them as well. There's some critics I listen to. There's some critics I don't. Like the nostalgia critic, I listen to him. I think I have similar taste in movies, and sometimes we differ, but it's like he at least delivers it in a way to where it's like, listen, if you like this sort of thing, that's fine, but this is something that is in the movie and I personally didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's a thing that some critics are notorious for saying that people who enjoy this movie just don't know how movies work and blah 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 blah. And then there's people that it's like, just because there's like, oh, I personally didn't like this movie. Like, there's extremes both ways, and it's a horrible cycle to where they kind of feed into each other, and that's a whole nother thing. But just like the things you like. If you want to see the movie, go see it. If you don't. There's been plenty of movies to where they had bad trailers, but were actually really good. They had plenty of movies to where they had bad reviews, but were actually kind of ahead of their time and became cult classics. There's a reason why they're called cult classics. You know, like, I love bad horror movies. Every horror movie I love, almost, critics hate.
But back to Suicide Squad. What day does it come out? What
Tomorrow.
day does it hit theaters? Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Anything else coming out tomorrow?
Little King's Story is coming out that's a game, but it's coming out on PC. And No Man's Sky is coming out on PS4 and PC August 9th. And also, there's a Dota 2 Championship August 8th through the 13th.
Ooh, a little bit of trivia. Dota stands for Dust of the Ages.
Really?
Great game. Yes.
I've never played.
You've never played Dota? Oh my goodness.
I've never played either.
Oh my goodness. It's
The
free to
entire
play.
RTS genre, it's visual appeal. I can't get around it. That's why I can't play MOBAs. Because they look too much like an RTS, and it's aesthetic I cannot enjoy.
Dota 2 and StarCraft are the best FPS and CPU stressing games I have ever found. People talk about Crysis, but yes. No. If you want to benchmark your PC, see if you can get frame rate out of either one of them games on max settings. Dota, says Scion.
So that is the end of this week's Minus Streamers podcast. I thank you all for being here. You can be back here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for next week's podcast. And then on Monday night, we have the Meet the Rebuttal. Be sure to check that out.
Yes.
Smash.
You can find each one of us. We have our own channels. And if you go to the Minus the Rumors website, go to our team, you can find each of our pages and you find out all the things about us. But I'm putting out videos. Zero, you're doing the MTR stuff, right?
Currently, yes. I am in the process of making a game with Angry Hippie Lady. Making a Let's Play. But I'm currently working on the MTR stuff right
I was about
now.
to say, I'm not working on a game. I don't know what you're talking about.
Saints Row 3.
Yep. Let's play.
We have to finish that.
Yeah, I told you this coming week. We'll talk.
So Hippie, you're about done with the stream streak?
Saturday is my last day. Thank God.
Is Saturday the 100th day of live streaming on
Saturday
YouTube
is
Gaming?
the 100th day. Actually, right after this, I'm gonna, probably about like 30 minutes after, I'm gonna do a live stream that's gonna be about 5 hours. And it's gonna
Why?
be today and Friday stream because I'm traveling tomorrow, and it's like when I get there,
Oh,
I've got to deal with kids. I'm
So
not
you're-
about the live stream with kids.
you're gonna
around.
break the midnight barrier.
Yep.
You cheaty woman.
Not really, because if you have 2.5 hours on each side, that's fine.
What game are you playing tonight?
I don't know. I haven't
Ooh.
figured that out yet.
You got Saints Row
Any
3?
suggestions are welcome. I can't stream Saints Row 3. It's all glitchy.
Dang
Yeah.
it. because I just beat
Anyway.
that game.
And what do you got going on, Bob?
Well, let's see. I'm doing a review and a podcast a week. The podcast has me and up to 2 other people. Here, first 2, I've only been able to get 1 person on, unfortunately, due to scheduling issues. On Tuesdays, my podcast goes up, and on Wednesdays, my review goes up. Fridays, I have my personal vlog sort of thing. So basically, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are my I actually produce something and have it out there days. And occasionally, I'll just like might throw something extra out that's just like, hey, I got an idea and blah blah blah. But this week's podcast was over like emulation and remasters, remakes, and Boo Games was on there with me. And this review, and Crimson loved this one. He said he had to watch this review. I played Mute Crimson Plus and reviewed it, which is Super Meat Boy meets Ninja Gaiden. And if you want to know if the game's good or not, check out the review. All my reviews are 15 minutes or less, roundabouts. This one was a little bit more of a less because it was a shorter game, but luckily it was only $5 on Steam, so you know. It's not one of those I'm spending $60 on this because I paid $60, but it is quite difficult and can.
Right. What about you, Crimson?
MTR has taken over my life, and I have pixel piracy. So, but speaking of Minus Rumors, you can catch us. You can follow us on Twitter, and Facebook, and YouTube. And Votable. We would much appreciate it if you did, followed us, shared it, and all those wonderful things. As always, we do have a Design by Human store. There's a link for that, as well as if you like some swagtistic glasses, you should go check out a link for that. NoScope have a pair. They're absolutely fantastic. Would highly recommend. As well as we have a website now, minustherumors.com, that has everything MTR related. You got a question, go there. You can probably find it out there. Anyways, guys, this has been Minus the Rumors, and we will see you next week.
Goodbye.